Jack Nicholson's story is often told as one of Hollywood greatness, but beneath the fame lies a life shaped by secrecy, emotional twists, and unexpected revelations. Born into a complicated family situation, and later rising to become one of cinema's most recognizable figures, Nicholson's journey has always carried an unusual blend of brilliance and mystery. At the peak of his career, he discovered that what he believed about his identity was not entirely true, a revelation that added a deeply personal shock to an already extraordinary life. Yet, rather than breaking him, the discovery became another layer in a life defined by resilience, talent, and unpredictability. His path from uncertain beginnings to global stardom reflects not only Hollywood's golden age, but also the hidden personal costs that sometimes come with fame, success, and long-held family secrets that eventually come to light in dramatic fashion. A childhood built on carefully guarded truths, Jack Nicholson's early life was shaped by a family arrangement designed to protect reputations and maintain appearances in a conservative era. He was born in New Jersey in 1937 to a young mother whose circumstances made traditional family roles complicated. To avoid public judgment, his grandmother assumed the role of his mother, while his biological mother was presented as his older sister. This carefully maintained illusion defined Nicholson's childhood, and he grew up believing a version of his family story that felt normal to him. The household was modest but stable, filled with ordinary routines that masked an extraordinary secret. No one around him openly questioned the arrangement, and even close relatives adhered strictly to the story. This foundation of secrecy would remain intact for decades, shaping Nicholson's understanding of identity and family long before he ever stepped into Hollywood or began his career in entertainment. The shocking truth that emerged in adulthood decades later, when Nicholson had already become a rising Hollywood figure. A routine fact check for a magazine profile uncovered inconsistencies in his background. What began as a standard verification process quickly turned into a deeply personal revelation. The woman he believed was his sister was actually his biological mother, and the woman he thought was his mother was his grandmother. The discovery came through family members confirming long-held secrets, leaving Nicholson stunned but not publicly shattered. By that time, both key figures in the deception had already passed away, meaning he had no opportunity to confront them directly. Despite the emotional weight of the revelation, Nicholson later described it with surprising calmness, suggesting it clarified aspects of his life rather than destroyed them. The timing, coinciding with his growing fame, made the moment even more surreal, adding an almost cinematic twist to his real-life story. Early struggles and the long road in Hollywood before becoming a household name. Nicholson endured years of rejection and financial uncertainty in Los Angeles. Arriving as a teenager with ambitions of acting, he initially found work in minor studio roles, including jobs behind the scenes that paid very little. Casting directors often dismissed him for not fitting conventional leading man stereotypes, leaving him stuck in small parts and uncertain opportunities. To survive in the industry, he expanded his skills into screenwriting and production, learning the business from multiple angles. His persistence kept him connected to the creative world, even when acting roles were scarce. During this period, he developed relationships with independent filmmakers who valued unconventional talent, gradually building a foundation for future success. These early years were defined by patience, experimentation, and a determination to remain in Hollywood despite repeated setbacks that might have discouraged many others from continuing. Breakthrough roles that changed everything. Nicholson's breakthrough arrived through independent and countercultural cinema that emerged in the late 1960s. A pivotal moment came when he was cast in a supporting role in a low-budget film that unexpectedly became a cultural phenomenon, earning critical praise and massive box office success. His performance captured attention for its intensity and originality, marking him as a new kind of screen presence. Soon after, he delivered another acclaimed performance in a drama about personal struggle and identity, solidifying his reputation as a serious actor. These films positioned him at the center of a shifting Hollywood landscape that was beginning to embrace more complex and realistic storytelling. With each project, Nicholson moved further away from obscurity and closer to stardom, gaining recognition from critics and audiences who saw him as part of a new generation of actors redefining American cinema, becoming a defining star of modern cinema by the mid-1970s. Nicholson had fully established himself as one of Hollywood's most powerful performers. His role in a landmark psychological drama set in a mental institution became a defining moment in his career, earning him his first Academy Award for Best Actor. The film itself achieved historic success, winning multiple major awards and becoming one of the most celebrated movies of its era. Nicholson's portrayal was widely praised for its emotional depth and unpredictability, capturing both chaos and vulnerability in a single performance. Around the same period, he continued to take on diverse roles that demonstrated his range, from intense dramas to unconventional character studies. His reputation shifted from rising talent to established icon, and he became known for choosing challenging material that pushed boundaries. This era marked the moment when Nicholson transitioned from star to cinematic legend. Iconic roles, risky performances, and cultural impact. Nicholson's career continued to grow with roles that became deeply embedded in popular culture. One of his most famous performances involved portraying a descent into madness in a horror film that remains widely regarded as a classic. His immersive acting style brought intensity to the character, creating moments that are still referenced in cinema today. Later, he took on a role in a major superhero film adaptation, where his negotiation strategy for profit participation became legendary, earning him an extraordinary financial return. These choices demonstrated not only his acting talent, but also his sharp understanding of the entertainment industry. He consistently balanced artistic credibility with commercial success, making him one of the few actors capable of dominating both critical and box office landscapes. His influence extended beyond individual films, shaping how modern actors approached fame, contracts, and long-term career strategy. Awards, records, and unmatched recognition over the course of his career. Nicholson accumulated one of the most impressive records in acting history. He earned multiple Academy Awards and became one of the most nominated male actors of all time, with recognition spanning several decades. His achievements extended beyond the Oscars, including wins at major international award ceremonies and honors across film genres. This consistency highlighted not only his talent, but also his ability to remain relevant through changing eras of cinema. Few actors have managed to sustain such a long period of critical acclaim, while also maintaining box office appeal. Nicholson's name became synonymous with excellence in performance, and his presence in a film often guaranteed attention and prestige. His awards history reflects a career defined by both artistic ambition and widespread industry respect, securing his place among the most influential figures in modern film history. Love, relationships, and public fascination. Nicholson's personal life attracted nearly as much attention as his film career, often becoming the subject of media fascination. His relationships with several high-profile figures in entertainment contributed to his reputation as one of Hollywood's most charismatic and unpredictable personalities. One of his most significant long-term relationships involved a fellow actress, marked by passion, turbulence, and eventual separation. Reports of his romantic life often portrayed him as someone who avoided traditional commitment while maintaining deep but complex emotional connections. Friends and co-stars frequently commented on his charm and confidence, which made him one of the most talked-about figures in Hollywood's social circles. Despite the attention, Nicholson rarely discussed his private life in detail, preferring to keep a boundary between public image and personal experience. This contrast between visibility and privacy only added to the intrigue surrounding him. Family complexities and strained connections. Nicholson's relationships with his children have been described as varied, reflecting the complexities of balancing fame with family responsibilities. He has multiple children from different relationships, and while he maintains closeness with some, others have experienced limited contact. One of his children shares a notably strong bond with him, often seen accompanying him at public events and sharing interests. Other relationships have been more distant, with varying levels of acknowledgement over the years. These dynamics have occasionally been discussed in interviews and media reports, highlighting the challenges of maintaining consistent family ties while living a highly public and demanding life. Despite these complexities, Nicholson has expressed pride in his children's achievements and individuality. His family story mirrors the broader contradictions of his life, deeply personal connections existing alongside distance, privacy, and the pressures of global fame. Later career, missed opportunities, and quiet withdrawal in his later years, Nicholson gradually reduced his film appearances, eventually stepping away from acting altogether after his final major role in the early 2010s. While he was offered several high-profile projects afterward, he declined them for personal reasons, signaling a shift toward a quieter lifestyle. Some of these roles went on to receive critical acclaim, leading to speculation about what his performances might have added. Despite this, Nicholson appeared content with his decision to retreat from the demands of filmmaking. His absence from the screen marked the end of an era in Hollywood, as one of its most recognizable figures stepped back from public creative work. Though retirement rumors occasionally surfaced, he maintained that his focus had shifted away from acting, choosing instead to live privately rather than pursue additional fame or professional commitments. A private life, Lakers' legacy, and lasting influence today, Nicholson is widely associated with a quieter existence in Los Angeles, spending most of his time away from public view. One of his enduring passions has been basketball, particularly his long-standing support for the Los Angeles Lakers, where he became a familiar courtside presence for decades. His attendance at games turned him into a cultural fixture, with fans and players alike recognizing his dedication. Even as his public appearances have become rare, his legacy remains firmly intact through his films, awards, and influence on generations of actors. Nicholson's life represents a rare combination of artistic achievement, personal complexity, and cultural impact. From hidden family secrets to cinematic greatness, his story continues to fascinate audiences, not because of a single event, but because of the many layers that define a career and life unlike almost any other in Hollywood history.